So here at the Tides, we're thoughtfully sourcing products for the market. And then we take those products and we simply prepare them in the kitchen. The food's not complicated. You know, it's a good piece of fish, it's some vegetables, it's seasoned appropriately, and it's damn delicious.
Need a side of cocktail.
We wanted to sell only the things that we wanted to feed our kids. So it only made sense to develop a menu based around everything that we had in the shop.
Can we get you anything else?
Having that market first mentality means that we're always gonna have something really cool to play with. A lot of times people do that. They come for the food and they stay for the market, or they come for the market and they stay for lunch. The synergies of the two come together and it really makes for an interesting business model. And at the end of the day, we wanted to open a place so that we could eat the way that we wanted to eat. We could eat what we wanted to eat. This is what we like. This is what we enjoy. You know, we love seafood. It's what we know. I moved to New Orleans when I graduated high school, and I attended Loyola for 2 years and found that I was much better at eating po' boys and drinking beer than going to class. I'd always worked in restaurants in some facet, just an easy, quick way to make some money. And so when I got thrown out of college, it was the next logical thing. So I got a job cooking, and I did that for a couple of years in New Orleans and decided to take it seriously and go to culinary school.
Nicole, no tomato.
So an Oyster Po Boy is super simple. That to me, it's a bite of nostalgia.
So we've got these beautiful Gulf oysters, and they're gonna go into our fry mix over here.
We dredge them in a cornmeal mixture, mix it with flour and our house seasonings.
There's no egg, there's nothing. It's just oyster liqueur. So then I'm just gonna take these and I'm gonna drop it in that grease right there. And I'm gonna let it go just for a couple of minutes.
I wanted to bring a flair and an authenticity that wasn't here. You know, the bread that we use is Leidenheimer, tomato. The Leidenheimer we bring from New Orleans. It's the quintessential bread for po' boys.
We're not toasting, we're just trying to warm it up. To me, nothing goes better with an Oyster Po Boy than a cold beer. It's a match made in heaven. I haven't had a drink in over 10 years, but if I drank, that's what I would want to eat with that beer. I can hear these oysters are about done. Sounds like a downpour. It sounds like it's raining. And that's when I know those suckers are done. I'm just gonna give them a little season, a little shake. We're sauce people. We're not bashful about sauce. So we put that remoulade on there.
You know, a lot of the po' boys in New Orleans use mayonnaise and then they put pickles on there. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like cornichons, I like capers, and so that goes into the remoulade.
A little bit of lettuce. People say, well, in New Orleans, they shred the lettuce. Why don't you shred your lettuce? Well, because I don't want to. I like it like this. So we're gonna put some tomatoes on here. Just want a little bit of veg. So now I've got all of these beautiful oysters. Those are gonna go right on top. And what I want is exactly what's happening. I want oysters to fall out of this sandwich. This thing, it can't be beat. This is my favorite sandwich. It just screams New Orleans to me.
When I worked for the seafood distribution companies, the one that I ran in Birmingham was about $25 million a year. The one I ran in St. Pete was about $75 million a year. I know how those processing rooms work, and I didn't want our fish adulterated. So what I wanted to do here was get as close to the source as possible. And so with our seafood vendors, we probably have 12 to 15 different vendors that we use on a regular basis. We cherry pick. I've got one guy that's really good at tuna. We carry 3 different kinds of shrimp. He's got 2 that are great, and I get another one from another supplier. So my experience allows me to know who's doing what well. And so when I find who does it the best, I am very loyal to that until they give me reason not to be.
Good morning. Hey guys, how are you? Everybody? This is Mike Lockhart, Lockhart Seafood. He brings us 100% of our domestic grouper and snapper. There's nobody better. I trust Mike because I know when he brings me crabs, they've been cooked within the last day or 2. They're not sitting in some warehouse. They cut the fish for us, they skin it for us, they bring it in, so all we have to do is portion it. These guys do such a great job. Justin does such a great job cutting all the fish, making sure it's just the way that we like it. When I'm receiving fish, the thing that I'm looking for most is texture. There should be no odor. People say it should smell like the ocean. It shouldn't smell like anything. If it's got an odor, it's probably a little long. Grouper is Florida's state fish. It is abundant, so we really focus on red grouper. We feel like it's the best for what we do. All this little trim is gonna go into grouper fingers. So we sell fried grouper bites, nothing goes to waste. From here, what we'll do is we'll get it all trayed up. I'm looking for a 5 to 7 ounce portion, and then we open it up so we have good bun coverage, and then cooks will pull it as needed for the grouper romesco or the grouper sandwich.
That blackened grouper sandwich is something you should come to Florida for. I mean, there really isn't anything like it. I would venture to say in all of Florida. It's simply grilled with our house Creole seasoning.
When we moved down here almost 10 years ago, I couldn't find a blackened grouper sandwich that I wanted to eat. And so this is the fix to that. This is the blackened grouper sandwich that I want to eat every day, that you want to eat every day, that everybody wants to eat every day. We've won Best of the Bay 2 years running. We've only been open 3 years.
Oh, we've got a beautiful brioche bun that's not too big, that fits it just right. Our house-made remoulade, hydroponic lettuce all the time, local tomatoes and onions when we can get them. It's super simple and super easy, but it's also super delicious. I think that is the quintessential Florida sandwich.
We're gonna get started on crawfish arancini. It's a side dish for grouper romesco. It's also a starter. We wanted something a little crunchy. We wanted something a little more substantial to our romesco dish. So we decided that this was the best way to do it. You know, we didn't want to put potatoes or anything like that, or vegetables. So we decided that we would really make it seafood forward. Crawfish. We want any moisture to cook off, and we want to create a fond. That's that garlic and the crawfish that are caramelizing to the bottom of the pan. We've got 1,673 crawfish arancinis right now in the freezer for an event Saturday night. We'll do another 3,000 for another event later on this month. So great dish to showcase what we do. We'll deglaze with some white wine. We'll add the risotto that's 85% cooked, bring some liquid into it, and it's got that Creole seasoning, that the taste of the tides throughout. It'll cook nicey. The arancini really does tie everything together. It gives it a little bit of crunch, it gives it a little bit of creaminess, it gives it a little bit of texture, brings a little more heat to it. So I've got our herb mix and I've got green onions here, but there's also a fair amount of cheese in it, so that dairy also kind of tempers some of the heat down. So you kind of have this push-pull going on with the creamy and the spicy, the seafood, the grouper. It all just works really well together. So look at this. This is beautiful. I mean, it's cheesy. You can see all the crawfish in it. There's 4 pounds of crawfish meat in there. And we're just gonna spread it out over this. And then what we'll do is we'll run this in the freezer for about a half an hour. We'll let it set up, and then we'll come back and we'll start scooping and balling. And then after that, we'll bread it.
So the grouper romesco, we take that Florida grouper, season it, cook it in a skillet. The sauce romesco, which is a very classic sauce, roasted tomatoes, roasted peppers, almonds, some sherry vinegar and olive oil, some chive oil, and then we put those beautiful crawfish arancini on the plate. A nice little herb salad, and it's super refreshing. It's got a little bit of a bite to it. It's got some crunch, it's got some creamy. Kind of hits all of the tastes that you're looking for. It's really something special.
What up, dog?
Hey, dog, how are you? Can I tell you about my morning so far?
So my wife is my world. She's the creative and I'm the operation. Mary Kate and I met working in a restaurant in Atlanta. She's always wanted a market, and we wanted something that was gonna be COVID-proof. And so we figured that if we had a market, then we would be safe. We started making some sandwiches about 6 weeks after we'd been open, and it really took off. There was a guy that came in, and Mary Kate asked him how everything was, and he said everything was great, but you're gonna need more tables. The line literally was going out the door. Florida isn't necessarily seen as a culinary destination, but Florida has a ton to offer. And so that was one of the things that we really wanted to do, was to show what great product Florida has, and some of these great makers that are doing really amazing things.
That's the good stuff.
This is Sarah from St. Pete Ferments. She is our fermenting goddess. Truly the best kombucha around. Slightly effervescent, seasonal flavors.
You know, we're coming to the end of strawberry season, so strawberry ginger is like our kind of champagne of kombuchas during the season. You just can't beat Florida strawberries this time of year.
Yeah.
There's nobody really doing what we do. The robust market that we have, I mean, we haven't even talked about the farmers. The produce that we get from some of these farmers is phenomenal. We don't buy any commodity beef or pork or chicken.
We're getting ready to grind some local forested pork. that we get from Oliver Heritage Farms. It's going into Andouille, which will then go into our service case out front so that people can buy that and take it home, but it also goes into our dirty rice. This is something that's near and dear to me. It's kind of the quintessential sausage of the South, and I think that it's just something that we do a really good job with. It's super flavorful. I mean, you can see this beautiful fat in there. It just makes the most amazing sausage. And we take our Creole seasoning, which is kind of the taste of the tides. It's the backbone of a lot of our dishes. And we add a few other ingredients, a little more onion and garlic powder, a lot more cayenne, and just a touch more salt and a little bit of sugar. We'll make this and then we'll let it rest for a little while, just to let everything kind of meld together, and then we'll put it through the sausage press. This is Robert. He's my brother-in-law, butcher extraordinaire, protein specialist. He cuts 95% of all the proteins that we have in-house here. I knew that if I had Robert here, I had one other person that knew as much or more about fish than me.
So Robert, what's it like working with your brother-in-law?
It's fun a lot of the times, but just like any job, there are times where it's been frustrating, but being that he's my brother-in-law, we are able to work things out after almost killing each other.
At least family, right? Like, I don't have to go to HR with that, right? It's just his sister or my wife. And she always takes my side anyways.
This just helps with packaging and being able to sell it, because I know that every 2 links is close to half a pound. Get 3 equal links in the middle there, and then I twist it towards me. So you want to, when you're twisting up the sausages, you want to do them opposite directions. It just helps seal them in and helps so it doesn't all unravel all at the same time.
Robert found that if we let the sausage rest overnight and smoke it the next day, it definitely gives it added depth of flavor. So this is really what brings out the heat and the smoke and the dirty rice. This is one of the ingredients that it makes that dish what it is.
Kind of like our own signature andouille. Yeah. Like I love andouille sausage, but the stuff that we make, I like it the best.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we do with everything we put in the market is we try to showcase it in the kitchen. And then that way somebody can taste the andouille before they buy it.
Use that in the dirty rice with pecans, confetti of onions and peppers, jasmine rice, our house seasonings, a little bit of butter. It's really delightful. We take the local yellowtail snapper and we blacken it, cook it in a pan. So blackening fish means a lot of different things to different people. And to me, it means taking a seasoning that's got a little spice, it's got paprika, it's got herbs, and applying it to the fish and cooking it either in a pan or on a grill. Paul Prudhomme made it famous, but I think that there's a lot of different ways to do it. We take the yellowtail snapper and we put that on top with a little bit of lemon beurre blanc. And again, it's super simple, super easy, but it's super delicious too.
Meats by Lynn's is out of Chicago, 3rd generation. They do an amazing product. They've got a closed herd. It's 100% Black Angus, the best that you can get. So we bring in beef 2 ways. We are your local spot, right? This is from Chicago. It's not local. Why do we bring that? Because it's the best of what's available for dry age. We can't dry age in-house. We carry a whole nother line of Florida grass-fed, grass-finished beef that never leaves the state. So we've got that. The thing that we found is that some people want big beef. They want it finished on grain. They want marbling. They want that big beefy taste that grass-fed can't deliver. So we carry both. The ground beef that we use, the whole muscles that we grind here for our burgers and our meatballs, that's Florida grass-fed, grass-finished. Our philosophy is that we want to use the best that we can, locally first, regionally second, and nationally third. From a menu standpoint, one of the things that we don't want to do is be so expensive that people can't afford to eat here. So I do a lot of research to find byproduct or other products that aren't readily available so that we can bring those in.
Personally, I like the spinalis on that guy.
Thanks. I'll take one.
I am really encouraged with the direction of the culinary scene in St. Pete and Clearwater. There's a ton of really great chefs doing some amazing things all throughout Pinellas County. I am really proud to be a part of that. I'm really proud to shine a spotlight on the bounty of the Gulf. It's really amazing to be a part of this community that is doing so many wonderful things and putting out so many tremendous products that give us the leverage to be creative and do different things with it. You know, we've been open 3 years, and I'm really interested to see what the next 3, 4, 5 years bring, because if this is the trend, then I can't wait.